In 2022, for Disability History Month, we commissioned 4 artists to create artwork in locations along the shared use paths in Scotland that were historically significant to disabled people's history. We commissioned 4 artists who all worked in different mediums: sculpture, collage, poetry and weaving.
I was one of the founder members of Disability History Month and Disability History Month Scotland, so it has become a very important part of my life. The reason that we wanted to set up Disability History Month was to make sure that the lives of ordinary disabled people in Scotland were never forgotten. Every one of those lives has shaped the Scotland that we know today. Remembering the history of those disabled people is really, really important to me.
It's so often neglected, disability history, and it's so often not spoken about. And there's a lot of discussion around representation in current media or current films for disabled people. But it's also particularly important, I think, to see yourself reflected in history. And we know that representation isn't brilliant at the moment. So if you don't have the opportunity to see yourself reflected in current times, and then you look back and it's like you didn't even exist in history at all, that can really affect your own self-concept or your own understanding of your disability.
Most theories of autism fail to include the experiences of autistic people and instead just describe how we're perceived by the non-autistic population. And everything's always kind of pathologizing autistic people from a kind of non-autistic lens. I wanted to present a sculpture that includes voices of autistic people living in Scotland today.
The way that disability is often told in society is in a very sidelined or very narrow viewpoint. Months like these give an opportunity to tell the stories, to bring it into the front and centre, which often it's far from there.
We decided to focus on Disability History Month this year because we're very aware that disabled people are currently not very well represented as users of the National Cycle Network. We hope to raise awareness of the issues that disabled people have when using the NCN and also promote the NCN as a shared resource for everybody.
Disability History Month is quite a latecomer to the scene. It's becoming established as part of the calendar, but it's not quite there yet. And this help and support from Sustrans, not just as artists, but as disabled people, will really help us to establish Disability History Month in Scotland.
Access and ways of approaching access is often viewed as an afterthought or kind of something to do when there's the right funding rather than as an absolute priority. But I think it's essential that if these spaces are for the public, they are for everyone.
It feels really nice to be able to place them in a place where lots of people will be passing and lots of people can engage with it in different ways. Also a free public space, which there are so few of those still.
It's totally public as well. And the cycle path being really accessible, so it's not just within this kind of white cube space, which is really nice.
I've been able to celebrate not just disabled people and their history, but also the location. It's been great to incorporate things like the flowers, the butterflies, the wildlife that are present on this part of the network.
I've thoroughly enjoyed working on this project. It's been a fantastic collaboration between people that work within Sustrans and the artists and historians and all of the other people who've become involved.